morning, YouTube. How's everyone doing? This is Silver Husky, providing you with a morning report. And today, out of the Financial Times, I'm reading about how the metals authorities are probing Perth Mint over gold sourcing claims. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this to you, but basically, it's talking about how the Perth Mint is being accused of sourcing some of its metals. It's basically conflict gold from Papua New Guinea. The body that oversees London's $5 trillion gold market is investigating allegations that the Perth Mint, one of the industry's biggest refiners, processed tainted metals from the small-scale miners in Papua New Guinea. The London Bullion Market Association, which is called the LBMA, said that it had launched a review after claims in the Australian media that the Perth Mint had bought materials from artisanal miners in Papua New Guinea, PNG, which have a reputation of employing children and using mercury in gold mines. As a global authority for precious metals, LBMA maintains the highest standard for responsible sourcing, it said in a statement. We therefore take very seriously the recent allegations relating to the Perth Mint and its sourcing from Papua New Guinea. If Perth Mint, which is owned by the government of Western Australia, is found to have violated the LBMA's guidelines on responsible sourcing, it could be stripped of its accreditation and in effect shut out of London's bullion markets. Only gold and silver bars that meet the LBMA's good delivery standards can be used to settle contracts in London. The Australian Financial Review claimed last week that the Perth Mint was buying as much as 200 million of conflict gold annually from Golden Valley, the PNG-based company. The AFR claimed that on Monday that the Perth Mint had repeatedly ignored concerns raised by staff about purchases from the companies and sourcing from artisanal miners in PNG. Golden Valley, which describes itself as a fast-growing, low-cost gold producer, could not immediately be reached for comment. However, its managing director was quoted by AFR as acknowledging that mercury was often used by its suppliers and that PNG children were involved in mining with their families. The incident comes as consumers of precious metals, as well as the banks that trade gold, demand to know where their metal comes from and to ensure that it's ethically sourced. The Perth Mint is one of the world's biggest gold refiners and one of the few companies accredited by all 5 of the big gold markets, including New York, Shanghai, Dubai, and Tokyo. The group said it welcomed the LBMA's investigation and had begun a review into the environmental, social, and governance practices of its customers. The review is being overseen by the chairman, Sam Walsh, the former chief executive of global miner Rio Tinto. The Perth Mint is confident in its adherence to the highest ethical standards and spearheads the sector in improving transparency and compliance in the supply chain, it said in a statement on Monday. The LBMA has confirmed in writing that to date the Perth Mint has been fully compliant with its responsible sourcing program. Refiners to the LBMA's good delivery list have to ensure that their gold comes from sources that are free of conflict and are not connected to money laundering, terrorist financing, or human rights abuses such as child labor, and do not degrade the environment. The list of 70 approved refiners account for 90% of the annual global gold production. Under an 11-step review process, the LBMA speaks to auditors, refiners, and other relevant parties before determining the next step, which can include suspension from the good delivery list. The LBMA urges the refiner to provide transparency to the allegations reported in the media and in as far as possible, disclose the challenges and identified risks and how the risks have been mitigated, as well as what further actions the Perth Mint is taking, it said. All right, so this review is out of the Financial Times, and it's saying do not copy the the article, so I'm not copying it. I'm just reading it to you guys, and I'm giving credit where credit's due. But this is big news because obviously the LBMA is one of the biggest and oldest governing authorities when it comes to precious metals, and the fact that they could be blacklisting the Perth Mint could spark something of a domino effect where the other ones may do the same, right? The United States in New York Shanghai, Dubai, or Tokyo, one of those might also decide to blacklist the Perth Mint, which could be detrimental to them. As we know, as bullion collectors, bullion and coin collectors, that the Perth Mint produces some of the finest quality pieces, beautiful, great quality control, but obviously they have to get their gold from somewhere. So let's just hope that this isn't the case. But if it is, I guess more news will come. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely hit the comment bell, get the latest news as it comes out on the morning report.